Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us here in the lagoon. What we're about to show you is how we set up and film some of the spectacular stunts that you see in the movies and on television. Now, what you're about to see is actually 3 scenes which would normally be filmed individually. However, tonight we're going to run them non-stop to give you a better idea of how this would actually look on the screen. And we'll start with what we call a dry run. Briefly, a dry run means running all 3 scenes without firing off any of the special effects, and none of the weapons will be fired off, but you'll see the boats basically run through the entire scenario. Now, immediately following, just as soon as the water calms down, we'll add all the elements to give you a show you'll never forget. Now, in this scenario, you need to look for a couple of these elements. First, there's the bad guy who's driving the custom-made 17-foot Wellcraft Scarab. Now, this boat was specially designed and built for the stunt that you are about to see. The other elements are the 21-foot Wellcraft Scarab police boats. Now, these boats are Wellcraft's stock 21-foot Scarabs with just some special safety equipment added on. Now, here's the story. The DEA is about to break up the largest drug ring in the southeast. As the scene opens, our drug runners have made it as far as the boathouse at the south end of the lagoon, there under the Texaco side. The bag man is about to pass over the product to his accomplice in the Black Scarab. Now, the bagman's on another element at this time, but you'll see him there at the beginning of the show. Now, as he passes the product, the DEA spots him and they tell him to freeze, as they're doing right now. At this time, the Scarab driver pulls away and a gunfight ensues. Now, as the Black Scarab heads north, the bagman, who's still on the boathouse, begins firing at the DEA. The agents return fire here, and you'll see the first set of special effects go off on the boathouse. And this time, the DEA begins their chase. Escape, forcing him to take a 180-degree turn and head back down the lagoon. Now he has 2 DEA agents in close pursuit. At about this point, the agents fire heavily on the black boat. You'll see an explosion in the engine on the black boat. And he'll go into the boathouse as if out of control, and you'll see an enormous explosion. Now that's the end of scene 1. That brings us to scene 2. As you know, narcotics are transported in many different ways. In fast boats, airplanes, and even hidden aboard freighters like the one you see anchored out here in the center of our set. In this next scene, our drug runners, well, one of them is on board the trawler, and they have just dropped off the last of their contraband, and one of the men on board the ship has spotted the DEA. And the pilot house on the trawler begins to fire on the agents. At this time, Scarab 3, as he's already done, splits with their backup boat and makes an assault on the trawler, while Scarab 1 stays down in the end and continues to look for survivors of the boathouse explosion. As the Scarab makes its first pass, they return fire on the pilot house, and here at this time, as they do their gunfight, you'll see an exchange of gunfire, and the special effects will go off around the pilot house. As they circle back around, as he's doing now, out from the side of the boathouse comes the white boat, or the fish as we call it. Now this will be manned. This boat will be manned with 2 drug runners who are making their way back from their last drop. Once again, there's another man involved who's on another element at this time. They cross paths with Scarab 3, firing at the agents as they make a very close high-speed pass, which they will do much tighter in a minute. And they'll make their way to the trawler, and that's the end of scene 2. Now scene 3. At this point, the trawler is manned with 2 gunners, and the fish heads back to try to distract the agents while his partners get the trawler underway. What the fish driver will do is what we call threading the needle, as he's just done. In other words, driving the boat in between the 2 Scarabs at high speed while setting off an explosion. Now the DEA have their drug runners pinned down. They know they can't outrun them, so they make a few passes, forcing men on board to take cover by firing on. As the Scarabs make their final pass, they make another crossover turn as they've just done here. They make one more crossover turn. Now as they make their final pass, they'll fire a small rocket into the stern of the trawler, which sets off an enormous explosion. And about this time, it's an explosion you'll never forget. And that's the end of the entire scenario. And at this point, you're hearing a cut.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're going to let the water calm down and make all safety checks of all equipment and special effects. Right now, our technical director is in radio contact with all the technicians that arm the major elements in the show, such as the boathouse and the trawler. Also, the stuntmen out there are making their own safety checks in their boats with any piece of equipment that they may use in this scenario. Meanwhile, I need to inform you of some safety precautions that you need to make. Now, first of all, if you or your children are sitting on the rocks in the lagoon area, you must evacuate this area now due to the special effects that you're about to see. Also, if you're on the water side of any railing or fence surrounding the lagoon, you must get on the other side. The effects that you were about to see could cause you to lose your balance during the show and may up under the water. We don't want that to happen. So please, ladies and gentlemen, heed these warnings, and we appreciate your cooperation concerning these. Now also, we have what we call splash areas. And the first one is at the south end of the lagoon, by the Murder, She Wrote Mystery Theater building. At the center lamppost along the wall is a splash area. Also towards the center of the lagoon, where the wrought iron railing is located close to the water. Could you folks raise your hands? Yeah, some of you are doing so now. Now this is a very serious splash area, and you'll probably get wet. Okay, probably more of a chance here than any place else you will get wet. The other splash area is along the wall over by the International Foods Bazaar, by this red railing. Folks, if you'll raise your hands over there. Yes, right in that area. Now, this is a possible splash area. So all of you in these areas may want to consider your photo equipment, young children, or even yourselves. If you want to move, you have about 4 minutes to do so. At this time, we should be completed with most of our safety checks. We're going to turn it over to our technical director. How's it going?
Okay, Mr. Chanel, we're just a couple of minutes away. Got a few safety checks to run through. All units, you may lock and load your weapon. Lock and load. Fish driver, check 1, radio check. There's a fish, you're 10-2. 10-4, all units, let's get weapons checks, please. Stunt 2. Bad guy.
Bad guy.
Terrorist. Boathouse, tag 1, status please.
So good, Jim. Ready to do it.
10-4, thank you. Trawler, tag 1, status. Ready to get you, Jim. 10-4, thank you, JD. Mr. Chanel, we've got a few more things. We're going to let the water calm down, and I'll get back to you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Ladies and gentlemen, during these remaining 2 minutes, I just want you to know a little bit about these stuntmen and the equipment they use. Now, these men are professional stuntmen and have worked in many of the television series filmed here at Universal Studios, such as Superforce, Superboy, Swamp Thing. Also, they have credits in some of the major motion pictures that have been filmed here in the state of Florida. Now, the difference between their work in front of the camera and here in the lagoon is here we have an audience, and that's where you come in. Now, first, I want to point out the bad guys. In the modified Wellcraft's Black Scarab jet boat with a white helmet down by the Texaco sign, he's a black guy. Now, the guy standing next to him, the bagman, he's also a bad guy. Also, there are 2 bad guys hiding in the seaplane, or in the white fish over by the boathouse. Now, whenever we see them out there, we want you to boo them. So right now, let's rehearse that boo. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on, that's not big enough. Let's try it again. 1, 2, 3. That's more like it. Now for the good guys. I'm down here in the center of the lagoon, and the 21-foot Woolcraft police scarab is turning his lights on right now. Now he's one of our good guys. And back on the other side, behind the bridge, by the Back to the Future, we have two other good guys. So let's hear it for these good guys. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, yay! Woo! Come on, once again. There's thousands of you out here. Once more. 1, 2, 3. That's great. All right, I'm going to check it over with Jim, our technical director, and see how we're doing. Jim?
Team 4, thank you. Bad guy, check 1, radio check. This is bad guy, team 2, Jim. Okay, Paul, how's the water look? Water looking great. Okay, into it. 10-4, all units, we are 30 seconds and rolling. This is live fire, live pyro, and full speed. Good luck, everybody. David?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, our stuntman has approved the water conditions, and we're ready to roll. Now, if we had cameras out here, this would be a multiple camera shot. And the AD, or the assistant director, would call all camera operators to cameras roll. They would come back with speed, letting us know that the film is running proper. And then the director would say, action.
Freeze, dirtbag. The DEA. Drop your weapons and hold your position.
Good job, gentlemen. Once again, your Universal Studios Florida stunt team. Let's hear it for the man in the fish here in the center of the lagoon. Also the bad guy up there on the trawler. Good job, gentlemen. And our principals, our DEA agents. Come on, let's hear it for them. Woo! Your Universal Studios Florida stunt team. Told you you'd get wet. Yeah, good job, gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you very much for being out here on the lagoon with us. We appreciate you coming, and we hope to see you back here at Universal Studios again real soon. Thank you and good night.
Oye, yo sentí el calor,